business ownership is hard, but it's easy at the same time. It's hard to do the easy work, okay? It's laid out for you. You know what to do. Dude, where we're at now in life ain't nothing new. You're not reinventing any wheel. There's been a business owner before you. Guess what? There's been an entrepreneur before you. There's been struggles before you, and there's been successes before you. People have been doing better personally than you prior, so study them. There's people that have been doing better than you professionally before you, so study them. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Return on Investment MF channel. It's your host, Zack ROI Williams, and this is the information your haters don't want you to hear about. Becoming the most badass version of yourself in business. What's going on, guys? It's Zack ROI Williams here with another episode of Return on Investment MF channel. So today we're going to be talking about there's levels to this shit, all right? Now, the reason I say that is I'm constantly comparing myself to the people that I'm around. The people that I'm around are constantly comparing themselves to the people that they are around, and so on and so forth. Well, when you do that and you start looking at your comparing, for example, Ryan Stewman's one of my mentors, and I'm constantly feeling like I'm inadequate because I'm not performing to the level that he is. Now, maybe not necessarily performing as far as what I'm actually doing it day in and day out into getting the fucking work done. I know that motherfucker works his dick off, so I'm not taking anything away from him, but so does your boy. So what I'm saying, though, is where he's at and what he's accomplished. Now, I've actually said this to his face, too, that with what he's provided, with his following, with his free education, and with, Apex, there's no secret that I'm in Apex and that I love that network. But I have a tool that he did not have when he started out. So I've openly said on a phone call with him that when I get to where he is, as far as age and how long he's been in his organization focused on that one thing, that I should be doing better than him. And of course he agreed because he understands that what he's doing, what he's providing is a foundation and a tool for all of us to take our businesses and our personal lives to the next level. But went on a tangent right there for a second, but it falls in line with what I wanted to talk about. Is I look up to him as well as other people like Andy Frisella, Ed Milet, Sean Whalen, people like them. And I compare my chapter 3, chapter 2.5, I guess you will. We're not even in our third full year of business, to their chapters 10s, 15s, 20s, and 25s. And so I'm over here wondering why we're not doing $100 million years. And I am actually, that is a toxic trait that I've learned, to keep at bay. However, part of this episode spurred because I was at the bank setting up a new bank account for a new business that myself and Jay Bird started. And a friend walked in while I was in the office, and we were making jokes about, we're in a bank and we're business owners, so we're making money jokes, right? And we're talking back and forth with where we're at, what we're doing. And of course, I'm making fun of him. He's making a deposit, right? I'm making fun of him for the teller counting his money really fast, right? Insinuating that it's not a big deposit. And he's messing with me about my little bank account. So all jokes aside, we start really conversating. And one of the comments was, he was feeling like he wasn't doing enough, right? I equated himself to another entrepreneur that I had just worked out with yesterday and met with that is 40 years old. So he is 5 years older than my friend that I was speaking to in the bank, as well as he's 6 or 7 years older than me. I forget how old I am sometimes. But I told him what this 40-year-old had been doing with his life the last 2 decades. And let me just say, it's quite impressive. And my buddy that's in the bank with me, he's like, man, I can't wait to get there, whatever. He's like, the way I look at it, I got 5 more years to catch up with him. And we started discussing that we are starting to surround ourselves with more and more people that are not only just like-minded, but are actually steps ahead of us. And those are the rooms that you want to be in. However, it put things in perspective when I left that bank and I was in my truck just kind of driving, listening to some music, thinking back on our conversation. Because I go through that just like I'm sure you go through it, whatever. You're surrounded by people that are fucking winning. You're surrounded by bad motherfuckers, both in their personal lives and in their business, wondering why not me, when me, I'm going to get there one day. Oh, must be nice, which if y'all know me, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. Don't you ever fucking say must be nice around me. But you're saying all this stuff and thinking all this stuff when in all honesty, that's a good thing. And what I mean by that, and what I mean by there's levels to this shit, is if you ever, at any point, are sitting there knowing that you're the baddest motherfucker in the room, bro, you in the fucking wrong room. And to put that in perspective, the people that you're looking up to that are on their chapter 15s and 20s and 25s, they are thinking the same exact thing about their mentors or the people that they look up to. And they're comparing their, chapter 15s, chapter 20s, and chapter 25s to motherfuckers that have chapter 40s and chapter 50s and chapter 60s, okay? So when I mean there's levels to this shit, you need to slow the fuck down, focus on what you're doing right now to actually move the needle to get to where they're at, okay? So there is... And I find this comical, and I will, as these articles will come up, I'll actually dive into these because these are very important. I don't read the news. I don't watch the news. I don't give a shit about the news. All I care about is what I can do to control my life right this second and protect my family moving forward. Small tangent. But the news articles that I will read are actual interviews with some of these people that are in positions that I would love to be in. Now, I'm not saying I would ever trade my life for anyone's because I never would. My life and my daughter are everything I need, and I love the businesses, organizations, and the people that are in my life right now, and I would never trade any of that for anything, no amount of money. But I will say that I feel like most of us would trade bank accounts with Jeff Bezos and maybe Warren Buffett's if you're into that, as well as your Bill Gates, and then of course, Elon Musk. But as these interviews come up and you focus, all these men at some point in their life have been the number one wealthiest person in the world. Now, we're not going to get into like the Rothschilds and all that shit about like the families. Fuck all those guys. Anyways, you look at these people like the Jeff Bezos, the Warren Buffetts, you look at all of them. And they're still fucking working. They're still going out there and killing it. So I want to put things in perspective where if you were to trade places with them, not saying that you want to or anything like that, but those feelings that you have right now of wanting to continue on and wishing that there was more and striving, being jealous of where someone else is, you don't realize that the person that you're looking up to being like, man, I can't wait to be there, or why am I not there yet? That person is wondering that about the next person. And that person's wondering that about the next and the next and the next, all the way up to the fucking richest people in the world. And they're still not fucking done. They're looking at where their future self can be. If you're the richest person in the world, and I'm not going to name any names because this changes, it seems like fucking weekly around here. But if you're the richest person in the world, guess who you're going to be comparing yourself to next? The future version of yourself. So, if you do not get the reins pulled back on these thoughts of like comparing, like if I were to compare myself to Ryan Stewman, and then Ryan Stewman compares himself to, say, Bobby Castro, and then Bobby Castro says, he compares himself to Jeff Bezos or Warren Buffett or Elon Musk, whoever it is. And then Elon Musk compares himself to, he probably compares himself to like alien version of himself. But, he's comparing himself to the next version of himself that's 5 years ahead of him, that's 10 years ahead of him. So there's levels to this shit. So the point that I want to get across here is to slow the fuck down and focus on where you're at. And instead of wondering why you're not there, wonder what the fuck you can do to get there. Stop trying to take all these steps. It's funny. I laugh at all these different fucking memes and, shout out Drewby, the meme lord. But there's that one meme, and you see that changes from industry to industry and all that. But it's the dude that's like taking like five or seven steps up the staircase. So you'll put different little captions on each stair, and it's all about people that are skipping steps. Don't be that fucking dude. Slow the fuck down, and you'll see all my quotes throughout this. And funny story, this is a little insider hint that all the chapters in my book that's coming out in April are labeled all my different quotes. But I say day in and day out. If you watch me on social media, you'll see two reoccurring for sure: baby steps and one foot in front of the other, right? So there's levels to this shit, man. You got to take the fucking next step. Stop trying to jump from one place to another. I'd personally, you'll see the leap of faith memes, right? Where it's this big crevice or this big valley and you got to jump from one step to the next step, whatever. I like those. You got to take a leap of faith at some point, but stop comparing yourself to making these massive leaps and just focus on taking one step at a time. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, right? So let's sit here and see. It's okay to plan on, all right, I'm going to compare, instead of comparing my chapter 2.5 to Ryan Stewman's chapter 15, how about I compare my chapter 2.5 to my own chapter 15? Let me think about what it is, where I'm heading, where my growth patterns are, what my projections look like, and let me see where I need to be and where I want to be at my chapter 15, and then reverse engineer that to chapter 14, and then 13, and then 12, and 11, and 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. And now I know what I need to be doing where my chapter 2.5 is to get to my chapter 3. And then my chapter 3, I know what to do to get to my chapter 4, and my 4 to 5, and 5 to 6, and so on and so forth. So that way, when I do end up in fucking chapter 15, I'm light years ahead of where I even thought possible, because I fucking understand that there's levels to this shit, and you can't jump from chapter 2.5 to chapter 15 without doing the fucking work of chapter 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Stop trying to skip the fucking steps and do the fucking work that you got to do fucking today to get there. There's no shortcuts. There's no fucking overnight success. I challenge you to go out there and do some research on the statistics of people that actually hit true overnight success. Even some of the ones that didn't even hit true overnight success, even the ones that built a career but were not prepared for the future of where it was taking them and where they ended up. Go look at all the lottery winners that struck it big and are all now broke and homeless now. Go look at those statistics. Go look at some of these sports players who played in the NFL, played in the NBA, are now homeless and addicted to drugs and have no money to their names because they were so focused on going from high school to millionaires, or they were so focused on, playing chance. They hit it big. They blew all their money, and now they have nothing. So stop focusing on overnight success. Same thing with the crypto game. Go look at some of these crypto guys. Now, I'm not talking ill of the crypto guys, because I know a lot of them that actually turned that into real legitimate businesses. But now they are fucking doing the work to progress it and take it to the next level. So with that being said, you've got to understand that there are levels to this shit. You've got to understand that where you're at right now does not mean that's where you're staying. You're sitting here comparing your again, I'll just use me for example. My level, my chapter 2.5, if I were to sit here and keep comparing my chapter 2.5 to someone else's 15 or 10 or even 7 or even 5, guess what? While I'm focused on my 2.5, my 2.5 is going to stay 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. You get out of this business ownership, entrepreneurship, this life, what you put into it. If I'm constantly putting this negativity of like, oh, I'm only here, I'm only doing $1 million a year, 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 guess what? You're only going to fucking do $1 million a year. Versus if you say, I want to be doing $100 million a year by my chapter 15, guess what? That means that chapter 14, I need to be doing 90 million a year or 95 million. My chapter 13, I need to be doing 80, 85 million. You reverse engineer it, which means, okay, I'll reverse engineer it all the way back to where I'm at. Well, now all of a sudden, my chapter 3, guess what, guys? All I need to do is about $3 million a year, $3 to $5 million. That's all I need to do. And guess fucking what? Now I'm on fucking track to producing $100 million a year because I stopped focusing about the $1 million, the $100 million that I wish I was doing. I stopped focusing on the $1 million that I'm doing and start focusing on the steps that I need to go from chapter 2.5 to chapter 3. And guess what? When it's time for chapter 3, now I'm just gonna be focused on chapter 4. And then when I'm at chapter 4, all I'm gonna be focusing on how I get to chapter 5, so on and so forth. You turn the fucking page. There's levels to this fucking shit. Stop overthinking it and stop comparing yourself to other people. It's easy, man. Like, well, I say it's easy. It's hard. It's hard. You ask any business owner what it's like running a business. It's fucking hard work. Now, it's easy because you know what to do when you actually do your studying and you figure out the steps that it takes to become successful. The cheat sheet's there. You've got the cheat sheet. So it's easy to know what to do when you actually do the fucking work. It's easy to know. I think it was the last episode I recorded on doing the hard shit first. You already know what the fuck to do. Now, you might not know what to do, so you know that education to educate yourself on that thing is what to do. So you might not know, like, oh, I want to start a marketing company. I need to learn to build funnels. You might not know how to build funnels, but you know it's time for me to go out there and fucking, if I want to own a marketing agency, I need to go out there and educate myself on building funnels, okay? If you want to own a personal fitness brand, okay, you might not know how to write out a nutrition plan. You might not know how to write out a workout program. You might not know macros and all that, but you know that you got to educate yourself on doing that. If you want to start a financial planning company, you might not know all the different certifications that you need to have, but you do know that there's someone out there who has that information that you've got to go find them so that you can interview them and you can ask them what to do. You know what to do. It's up to you to fucking do it. And again, this kind of goes back to my last episode, I believe it was, about doing the hard shit first, whenever that episode aired. But you know what to do. You've just got to fucking do it. It's all out there. So business ownership is hard, but it's easy at the same time. It's hard to do the easy work, okay? It's laid out for you. You know what to do. Dude, where we're at now in life ain't nothing new. You're not reinventing any wheel. There's been a business owner before you. Guess what? There's been an entrepreneur before you. There's been struggles before you, and there's been successes before you. People have been doing better personally than you prior, so study them. There's people that have been doing better than you professionally before you, so study them. So studying, educating yourselves, actually doing the work. You know what to do, and it's easy to know what to do, but it's hard to do it. So you got to understand that there's levels of this shit. Stop comparing your chapter 2.5 to people's chapter 15, because I guarantee you, even once you, like I explained, once you get to the top of the top, they're still comparing themselves to someone. It might be a future version of themselves, or it might be a future version of their closest competitor, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. They might be comparing themselves to what's Jeff going to do next year? What's Elon going to do in 3 years? What am I going to do in 10 years? They're still comparing themselves to someone. Stop comparing yourself to anyone else other than the future version of yourself. There's levels to this shit. Respect the fuck out of that. Stop discrediting what hard work and doing the fucking work will get you. My name is Zack Williams. This is another episode of Return on Investment MF channel. Hope you liked it. Peace. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this at all, please check out these videos that are coming up next. I have an idea that you're gonna like them.